Guys, it is officially time to rank every single season in Fortnite history. This is a video that I have been waiting to do for a very long time. I wanted to wait until the first 5 chapters of Fortnite had been completed. That way, I think it's a good stopping point for like, hey, ranking every single season within the first 5 chapters of Fortnite. Today, we're going to be going through all of them for you and giving my, in my opinion, tier list, ranking everything down below. I was so excited about this video, guys. Thank you for being here. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. Guys, I'm hyped. I'm hyped about this, man. So I scrambled everything around. Also, I'm playing around with a new style for the tier list because I find my webcam's been getting in the way if I just like plop it on the tier maker. So always looking for constructive criticism here on the channel. Please let me know if this is a format that you kind of like a nice background I have going over here. We have the coffee cup, got the coffee mug with us. Guys, I'm just excited about this video. I scrambled up all of the seasons so we don't talk from just the beginning to the end. Now, the other important thing is we have SS tier all the way to C tier. I am somebody who believes that Fortnite has never had a bad season. For that reason, we do not have a D tier. Now, the other part that we have is NA. There are 2 seasons of Fortnite that I have not played, that being Chapter 1 Season 1 and Chapter 1 Season 2. So that's going to go into the NA. With that being said, let's get started with the first season of Fortnite that I have ever played. Chapter 1 Season 3. Guys, this is when the OG days, in my opinion, got really fun. Like, and I know this video, depending on when you're watching this, OG Fortnite has come out. I didn't really like, and again, I haven't played the maps, but you can just tell how bland they are back in Seasons 1 and Season 2. Season 3, it started to pick up. The loot pool changed. The storyline began, and Prime Fortnite really began. I'm going to be ranking all of these in, of course, my opinion, right? This is how much fun I've had in each season. This isn't about like objectively what I think structurally the best season was, because perhaps we can get into that one day, but that's not what this video is going to be about. How much fun did I have in these seasons, okay? So, things like this being Prime Fortnite are going to play a factor into it. In Chapter 1 Season 3 was the first time I ever played Fortnite. It's the first time I fell in love with the game. The John Wicks running around, being scared of everything. The storyline beginning. I remember seeing that comet in the sky leading up to Season 4. Chapter 1 Season 3 was a great season, but now I might be moving these around a little bit because, of course, I don't know where this is going to stack up towards everything else. I'm going to start with Chapter 1 Season 3 over into the A tier. But again, we might move that around a little bit. Now, guys, oh my god. Chapter 2, Season 2. I don't care how long it was. I don't care how long it was. This was what a lot of people believe, Prime Fortnite. This is ranked to be the greatest season in Fortnite history. We took a look at that from Cypher BK's video, had a bunch of community rankings, and this was the top and by far most favorite season. Lockdown Fortnite, you had the amazing storyline with Midas, the loot pool was fantastic, you had the water storm, you had not 1, but 2 monumental live events, the storyline broke into an entire new era, you had the entire story with the agents, Agent Jones popping up, you had the storyline with Midas, one of the most fan favorite characters of all time, you had an amazing loot pool with the choppers, you had amazing POIs, you had amazing mythics. The gameplay for this season was top tier. And not only that, we had the mind-blowing Travis Scott event, which was never seen before in Fortnite history. It blew all of our minds. We were all talking about it. We had the conversations whether or not we were going to go back to the OG map. This was fun. From start to finish, I do not care one little bit how long it was. I can play Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 2 until the end of time, and I will never, ever get bored of it. This map was fantastic. All of the content updates that were there, it was a near perfect season, and I understand why this is what a lot of people believe to be the greatest season of all time. In saying that, though, we have SS tier reserved for my ultimate favorite seasons, and while there were a lot of seasons that I really did love within Fortnite, this was not one of them. This is going into the S tier, absolutely. Now, Chapter 2 Season 3. Man, did they put a spin on the gameplay. First of all, it was short. It was beautiful. It was short. You had map changes throughout the entire map. The gameplay with the water, the sharks, the map being flooded, it was such a fun time to be a Fortnite fan, with the Chapter 2 Season 2 building it up with all the water after the live event, the water storm, it crashing down after so long, speculating about a flood season. We finally got it. It delivered. The summer season, the splashdown was perfectly advertised, and it lived up to the hype. The skins were awesome. The POIs were awesome. And I will say, the Authority is better than the Agency. We had weekly map updates, not just weekly map updates, weekly actual map changes for these POIs, because the water level went down a little bit, and they went even to like the littlest detail in getting a little bit of debris on like the top floor of somewhere. I thought this season and all of the updates were spectacular. It was nice. It was quick. We had the introduction of cars. That whole update was great. And you can't forget, Chapter 2, Season 3 had the meta of gas stations. You bring everybody back together to have some prime Fortnite fun like we had in Chapter 1, Season 3 with people just coming around, being friends, having gas stations built. This was a phenomenal season. Phenomenal. This is also going to go into the S tier. I'm going to put it behind Chapter 2, Season 2, though. They were both so good, man. And you guys might know that I am a huge Fortnite fan, obviously. I've had fun with every single season that I've played, so I know that there's things that are going to end up in the C tier, but even then, I still had fun playing the seasons. I'm just comparing them all together, and I have a feeling, I don't know where it's going to end up, but I have a feeling we're going to have actually quite a few S tiers, okay? Continuing on, Fortnite Nexus War. I'm struggling here, man. I'm struggling because I don't want to put this another season like straight up into the S tier, okay? This was the Marvel season done right. From all of the beautiful, fun, overpowered mythics that we have, to the storyline, the live event with Galactus getting closer and closer to the island, the comic books with Thor, the mythics that Thor brought, Marvel Knockout, by the way, and that's something I forgot to mention about Chapter 2, Season 2, is we had all of the beautiful Operation LTMs. Those were fun. Ghost vs. Shadow, all the storylines with the different characters. Man, Nexus War built upon that, dude. We had Marvel Knockout. There were mythics all over the place, and there was like one Unibeam. Stark Industries was great. You had arguably the greatest mid-season update of all time. That was fantastic. Stark Industries in general and that entire biome put such a spin on the gameplay to have like a chunk of land that big, just dropping it on the map. It was one of the greatest updates that you'll ever find, man. Like, there was just so much fun to be had throughout the entirety of Nexus 4. And I'm going to make a video soon talking about like strictly ranking all of these seasons, just on gameplay. And this one's going to be near the top, man, because every single game that I played with this, it was fun. You had a great Fortnitemares on top of that with the Shadow Ghouls. Like, man, this was a great season too. I gotta put it in S tier. I have to. It was an amazing season. This is going to go into the S tier, although it is clear to me that I liked Season 2 and Season 3 more than I did Nexus War. Now, continuing on to, in my opinion, one of the most underrated seasons of all time, Chapter 2, Season 5. I understand the critiques about this season. Everybody was talking about, like, this is where it was justified to say, well, I play Fortnite. I don't want to play Ad Night. I understand that, okay? I always say that Epic Games was really smart in the sense the way they told that story. I personally really liked all of the collaborations that they ended up bringing into the game. I had fun with it. This was one of those seasons where the gameplay was just really solid. The loot pool was solid. The POIs were solid. The sand biome was great. The sand tunneling was a fantastic feature added to the map. I loved all the collaborations. Stealthy Stronghold was great. We had the introduction of exotic weapons. Like, when you're talking, this season didn't really bring a lot, but the issue with that is the gameplay itself and the loot pool and the flow of the game was so much fun in the season that I could care less. I hopped on every single day and I had fun playing Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 5 0 Point. I enjoyed it. 0 Point in the middle of the map. We had a solid storyline with it. I think this is a very good season. I'm going to throw this into the A tier right behind Chapter 1 Season 3 as of right now. Continuing on to Fortnite Primal. Now, guys, I'm ready to hear it. I am a Primal enjoyer. I loved this season. Loved is a strong word, but I really enjoyed myself this season. Yeah, there were things we didn't like. I didn't care for Bony Burbs. I didn't care about the crafting. I didn't like the makeshift weapons at all. But the strengths of this season were so good. You had the Zero Crisis finale, a very in-depth storyline, and I will sit here and say that the Spire is one of the greatest POIs to ever grace Fortnite. A POI that's literally just a spire going all the way up to the sky. It was so much fun. The bows were phenomenal. We had, did we have the unstable bow back then? I don't recall. Regardless, the shockwave bow, the fire bow, I loved the spin on the gameplay that the bows had. Now, I wish that that crafting wasn't necessary, and I wish the makeshift weapons weren't there, and I wish that snipers were also there to accompany the bows for the people who didn't want to use it. But I was one of those people who enjoyed the gameplay of the bows. I enjoyed the Primal or Assault Rifle. That's one of my favorite assault rifles to this day. I loved riding the wildlife. I think this is a very underrated season. It hit, and I understand why people don't like it, okay? I do, but for me, I had a lot of fun in Primal. A lot of fun. Where am I going to throw this one? Ooh. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Where am I going to throw Fortnite Primal? I almost want to bump 0 Point down to the B tier. Because, again, I'm thinking about comparing all of these together, okay? No, I have to put 0 Point A tier because, again, the flow of the gameplay was very, very nice. Did I enjoy Primal more than 0 Point? That's the issue. I think I enjoyed 0 Point more than I did Primal. I'm going to throw Primal into the A tier as well, guys. I'm going to throw it into the A tier. I really had fun with it. I'm going to put it right behind 0 Point, okay? Continuing on to what is well regarded on this channel to be my favorite season of all time, Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 7 Invasion. You guys have heard me talk about it way too many times on the channel. From the loot pool, to the storyline, to the live events, this is Fortnite at its peak. You had 2 live events, you had a concert, you had a storyline, you had an active storyline, you had the Mothership minigame, which took care of just every single little issue that you had mid-game, so it was always fun to fight, and the minigame itself was a blast. The UFOs were great, and that's something about Primal too. They ended off the season very strong with the UFO teasers, and that's not part of Chapter 2 Season 7, that's part of Chapter 2 Season 6. The abductions were fun. In Chapter 2 Season 7, the abductions were fun. We had Fortnite original goofy weapons that we were missing from Fortnite for so long. Things like the Gravitron, things like the inflatable, things like parasites. And the little loving care that they put into that where you get a parasite, you start talking like this. Like it was the perfect Fortnite season. There were no weak points. Pause. The map changes could have been stronger, okay? There were very little map changes, but the season was so good that I don't care. I don't care at all. Chapter 2 Season 7 is the perfect Fortnite season in my opinion. I loved it. From the UFOs being strong to being able to pick up things and chuck rocks around. This was the perfect season of Fortnite. Chapter 2 Season 7 is going to be our first SS tier. And we had the storyline with Kevin brought back, Dr. Sloan betraying us, like the IO base under Frenzy Farm or Frenzy Fields, whatever it was called. Like, man, the perfect Fortnite season. I did not want to leave that season. I was not ready for Chapter 2 Season 8. I wanted to stay in that season and play it until the end of time. That is our first SS tier season. Let's continue on to, in my opinion, a very underrated season in Fortnite Cubed. Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 8. This was another one of those seasons that was incredibly, incredibly underrated, and I loved it. Just like I was talking about with Chapter 2 Season 5, where it didn't really matter what it brought. Everything that came to the game, whether it's the live events, whether it's the updates, whether it's the Fortnitemares, it was all a bonus because the gameplay just flowed really well. I enjoyed every single match that I played in Fortnite Cubed, from the Venom Mythics to the Sideways weapons, and I was a big, big fan of the Sideways weapons. Running into the Cube, not Peacemaker, the Sideways monster, the name is escaping me at the moment, Caretaker boss. Whether it's that, the Fortnitemares, and not only that, you had literally the objectively, structurally best live event that you could possibly have in the Chapter 2 finale, and we didn't know at the time whether we were moving on to Chapter 3. We had all of the hype there. We had the pyramid being built. We had the Kevin the Cubes rolling around the map, not necessarily knowing where they were going, back when leaks weren't nearly as strong, and we had like the path for them, but we didn't know the result, right? Which was really, really fun. We didn't know what was going to happen with the Cube Queen. The Cube Queen came to the map in Fortnitemares. The updates were phenomenal. The flow of the gameplay was phenomenal. The battle pass was phenomenal. This is a very, very strong and underrated season in my opinion, and I am going to put Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 8 Cubed into the S tier. I'm going to put it right in front of Nexus War. I really enjoyed this season. Really, really enjoyed it. All right. I've been waiting to talk about this one, guys, because if you've been following the channel, you would know that there are 2 seasons of Fortnite that, in my opinion, belong into the SS tier, okay? I've been doing a lot of thinking for this video, and it's been a lot of really, really close seasons to the amount that I've enjoyed them, okay? Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 1 is officially, and I'll tell you why, is officially going to drop into the SS tier along with Invasion. This, in my opinion, deserves to have a standout from the rest of them, okay? From the new mechanics that were added to arguably the greatest map that Fortnite has ever had. I know that's up for debate now that we have Chapter 6, but the map was beautiful. The POIs were beautiful. The launch of the chapter was great. We had more introduction to the 7. Coming off the Chapter 2 finale, the storyline has never been stronger. And not only that, the gameplay was phenomenal. You finally had Spider-Man. You had the Daily Bugle. You had all of the webs around the map. You had logs and stones and snowballs that you could make. You had mid-season updates. You had weather. You had Klombo. This was innovative in the right way. Chapter 5? No. This was innovation done properly, and the mobility was fantastic. You had the tents, you had the mythics actually feeling like mythics, you had amazing POIs, and not only that, you had the vibes of just winter. You had a fantastic Winterfest, Sergeant Winter roaming around the map. You had, like, every single step throughout this season with all of its updates. You had Covert Cavern as well. It was another perfect season in my opinion. I know that people were upset about the MK Assault Rifle, but I think that's such a small thing in comparison to everything that the season brought. Again, you had the trees that you could knock down, amazing POIs, like the terrain was great. You had sliding introduced. This was great. This was an amazing, amazing, amazing season, and I do believe this belongs in the SS tier. Plus, everybody was happy. It was one of those times where the whole world actually came together because of Spider-Man No Way Home, and Fortnite captured not only that, but the Christmas feeling perfectly. This is an SS tier season. I have been sitting on that for a little while now. Let's continue on to Chapter 3, Season 2 Resistance. I enjoyed the season as well. The storyline was great. I spent the entire time in tanks, just shooting at people, but nothing against that. That was great. I love the tanks. I love the armored battle bus. It's like a more tamed Fortnite Wrecked now that I think about it. The POIs were interesting. You had zero build introduced, and that is something that's very important to consider when coming into a new season, right? It brought something that was really, really weird for Fortnite. I personally didn't find as much enjoyment throughout zero build as a lot of other people. I still played build throughout the entire season, but I think it was still a really cool thing to do. The battle pass was good. The storyline was great. The gameplay was great. I think it's an underrated season as well, and I honestly enjoyed myself. I'm one of those people, and I keep forgetting who actually came up with it. I believe it was Restro. Chapter 2 Season 7 and Chapter 3 Season 2 is, in my opinion, Fortnite's true prime, okay? With that being said, Fortnite, Chapter 3 Season 2. Really, really fun season. I had a great time. I'm going to throw this one into the A tier. Where am I going to throw this one into the A tier? Did I like it more than Primal and 0 Point? I did. I'm going to throw it right behind Chapter 1, Season 3. Now, one of, unfortunately, my least favorite seasons of all time, we have Fortnite Chapter 3, Season 3 vibin'. Guys, there just wasn't a lot going on this season. Again, nothing against the season because I still enjoyed myself. I never reached a point where it's like, oh my god, I don't want to play this game. I still had fun. In comparing all of these seasons together, this was a very, very weak season in my opinion, okay? Fortnite vibin'. Like I said, there wasn't anything going on. Like, Shuffled Shrines was the most fun part. And that's just because I, led people down a hallway that they didn't know what it was about and they got steamrolled by a stone. The armored, oh, by the way, the armored walls were a fantastic addition in Chapter 3. Had a lot of fun in those vaults. But, man, I don't know, man. Like, there's nothing to say about vibin'. That's why it's so low on this list, right? You had some mushrooms. You had a beautiful forest. The battle pass was good. Like, even Darth Vader was underwhelming. I didn't love this season. Now, what's interesting about this, though, is I think that there's other seasons that definitely belong in the C tier compared to this. So I'm going to throw this one over into the B tier, actually. But we might move that down, okay? Now, Chapter 1, Season 4. My second season of Fortnite ever. This was, like, what can I say? It's prime Fortnite, but the storyline actually kicked off. We had the whole superhero versus villains thing. You had fantastic map changes, in addition to the Hop Rocks, and it was another one of those, like, feel-good seasons. This was prime Fortnite to so many people, right? Structurally, the season doesn't hold up to a lot of other seasons, but the problem was, it was just such an amazing time to play the game that it did not matter to me. Omega was great. The loot pool was great. It was just a really, really fun time to play Fortnite. Did I enjoy this one more than I did Chapter 1, Season 3? I did. I thought it was a step up to Chapter 1, Season 3, and it's going to go into the A tier. Now, another hit or miss season for a lot of people is Fortnite Chapter 3, Season 4, Paradise. I was an enjoyer of Paradise. I thought the Chrome was a phenomenal mechanic. Phenomenal. I think the Chrome splashes should be a staple in Fortnite. That's how much fun I had with the Chrome. But it wasn't only that. The storyline, up until Fractured, okay? I get it. It was fun for the build-up. And I'm not going to take that away because even though it had a very anticlimactic ending, it was fun throughout the entire season talking about the last reality, talking about the nothing. The storyline had some serious potential. I had fun with that. Not only that, the gameplay flowed really well. The Chrome weapons were awesome. The map changes were great. We had the return of things like cannons. I liked the POI changes, the Herald on the map. There was a lot going on this season, and I enjoyed it. And I understand why this is a hit or miss for some people because if you don't enjoy the Chrome, quite frankly, it's going to be difficult for you to enjoy the season. It's one of those, you either love it or you hate it seasons, and I am somebody who really enjoyed this season. Now, where am I going to put Fortnite Paradise? I'm going to put this one, I'm going to put this one into the A tier, at the bottom of A tier so far. Now, Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 1. This was a near perfect season. From the very get-go, and this is what I was talking about when I was really talking about the launch for Chapter 6 and why it's so good, and I'm hesitant to say that it was the best chapter launch ever because you had Fortnite Chapters 2, 3, and 4 that were so good at launch. I personally didn't enjoy Chapter 5's launch nearly as much as the other ones, but this one was perfect too. You want to talk about the storyline? The storyline had some huge potential with the Rift Ward and Stellan. The storyline was there. We were talking about Geno. It was so good, man. It was so good. Not only that, the gameplay was just about there to be peak. The Falcon Scout carried this for me. Whether it's trolling, whether it's having fun just capturing people. I flew around on that stupid bird the entire season. The Shockwave Hammer, one of the greatest seasons of all time. The graphics were so good, in my opinion. Probably still my favorite graphics in Fortnite, but I'd have to stay on Chapter 6 for a little while to really get the idea there. The skins were great. The game was great. The new weapons were great. The theme was great. The map was great. Everything about this season was pretty well perfect in my opinion. And also the introduction to augments. And in this season, the augments were perfect. They were goofy, wacky, fun. This season, guys, I almost wanted to put it into SS tier. I almost wanted to. And I really thought about it. But this is going to run the S tier. Chapter 4 Season 1 is better than Chapter 2 Season 2 in my opinion. Now, continuing on with Chapter 4, you know what? We're going to mangle this up a little bit more, guys. We're going to mangle it up because I see some other stuff over here, okay? We're just going to do a little bit of that. Fortnite OG. I thought this was a great callback to OG. I had a lot of fun in Fortnite OG. They brought back a lot of fan favorites, but the problem is I do think that Fortnite OG was a missed opportunity, unfortunately, because there were so many things that they brought back or they didn't bring back that they could have brought back, but I think they brought back enough to really get that OG feel for the game. The game didn't feel OG, but it was nice to use the old weapons, the impulse grenades, the old loot pool. It made me sit back and realize how wrong I was about a lot of things in OG Fortnite. We had the hoverboards, the map in Chapter 1 was so good, and it was a really special time to go back to the map that we all know and loved. And now it's not a weird thing to go back to these maps, right? But at the time, man, was it a special feeling. A 1 month long season, a very quick season. In saying that though, Fortnite OG, I didn't have as much fun in Fortnite OG than I did in actual Fortnite OG, that being Chapters 1, Season 4, and Season 3. But I did think it was a very strong season. I'm going to put Fortnite OG, where am I going to put this one? I'm going to put this one, I'm going to put it right in between Resistance and 0 Point. I thought it was a very good season, into the A tier, okay? Last Resort, another really great season. I had a lot of fun in my entire history of Fortnite, guys. What really carried this was the vaults. Of course, you had all of the fan favorite mythics coming back. I had so much fun with my friends just fighting over those weapons, seeing you can get down to the vault first. Kato Thorn was fantastic. The theme was great. The storyline was lacking, unfortunately. They did a better job with the augments this time around. The rocket ram was really fun. This was a good season. It was a really good season. But in saying that, there's not a ton about Last Resort that really stacks up to most of the seasons that we've been talking about over here. So, Fortnite Chapter 4, Season 4, Last Resort is going to go, Where are we going to put this one? I don't know. Do I want to put it in the B tier? I almost do because I didn't enjoy Last Resort as much as Paradise, Primal, 0 Point. I don't know. I'm going to put this one at the top of B tier. That's where I'm going to put Last Resort, okay? Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 1. I don't get the hate for this one. I don't. I loved it. I don't care that it was long, just like Chapter 2 Season 2. And you all asked for this bland loot pool. I'm not going to get into it, by the way, but Epic Games gave the community exactly what they wanted. It was simple. It was fun. I enjoyed exploring the new map. I was on a mission to catch a mythic goldfish. I was fishing every single game. You had the greatest, and not even close to my opinion, the greatest Winterfest in Fortnite history that carried it. They brought the blizzards, the Winterfest cabin. You had a really fun Star Wars update. And I understand that it was a fraction of the season, but even just outside of it, I enjoyed exploring the new map. I enjoyed swimming. I enjoyed fishing. And it was a time in my life where I was just enjoying playing the game with my friends, man. So this season, I loved it. I loved it. But did I like it as much as all of these other seasons? It's definitely not an S tier, but is it an A tier? No. Yes. Yes, it is. I'm going to put this Chapter 2, Season 1 into the A tier. I'm going to put it right. I'm going to put it. Ooh, this is tough, man. This is getting really tough when you're separating all of these seasons. I'm going to put it right in front of Resistance. I enjoyed this season. I enjoyed it a lot, okay? Now we're moving on to some Chapter 5, okay? We're going to scramble a couple more over here. Chapter 5, Season 2, Myths and Mortals. The only thing that carried this for me, the Avatar update was okay, and I enjoyed the Midas's Floor is Lava, but I still didn't enjoy it as much because you had Bullet Drop. And this is going to be the theme of Chapter 5 for me. I struggled so hard to enjoy the gunplay that I had to rely on things like Zeus's Lightning Bolt, things that got nerfed, things that got vaulted. This was one of the biggest missed opportunities that Epic Games has ever had, and for that reason, we are going to put it into the C tier. It was okay. Again, I still enjoyed myself playing this game, but when you have the core foundation of the game, that being attachments, bullet drop, that's something that I'm actively avoiding in order to have fun, it's a little bit more difficult to have fun in these seasons, okay? So, that is going to be our first C tier. Season X. Where do I begin with Season X? Whether it's the storyline, whether it's the black hole, the live event, the mechs were a blast. I had fun bringing that fear back into the game like we were talking about with John Wick. Everybody likes it when John Wick was scary, but nobody likes it when the mechs were scary. You had an equal chance, by the way, to defeat a mech than you did with John Wick back in the day. Keep your logic consistent, okay? You had weekly, not only weekly map changes, weekly updates with weekly big POI changes, multiple POIs changing throughout the season, crossover POIs, Gotham, Borderlands, you had the Rift Zones, my favorite POI of all time, Starry Suburbs. You had Rift Zones where you were forced to change the gameplay no matter where you were entering, and I thought that was a phenomenal idea that I hate that the community gave Epic Games so much backlash during the season that they never tested it again. It was one of the greatest things that has ever graced Fortnite Rift Zones, in my opinion. I loved that the game changed where you were going. Fortnite's a game that's changing and evolving. I love that you could play prop hunt. I love that you can go and do taco time. I love that there was glider redeploy. Not only that, the storyline picked up. We had the storyline with the scientists. We had the paradigm. We had the end event, and the end event was the perfect send-off to the map that we've been playing on for so long. We didn't know if we were actually leaving it. It was an excellent callback with all of the greatest seasons, man. The mechs were great. The loot pool was great. Tilted Town was great. I played every single day in Chapter 1 Season X, like I did in Chapter 2 Season 7, and for that reason, this is going into the SS tier. I'm putting it behind Invasion, but man, with these two, they're pretty well equal, to be honest with you, and that's why I feel like so strongly about Chapter 3 Season 1, because I'm saying, like, if this belongs with those, man, but then again, like, I almost want to take it out, because I feel so strongly about these two seasons. You know what? I just changed my mind. I did a lot of thinking, and I was going to surprise everybody by saying, like, you know what? Chapter 3 Season 1 belongs in the SS tier. But no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because I don't feel... Here's the thing, okay? I played every day that I possibly could. I played Fortnite in these two seasons right here. It was not the same for Chapter 3 Season 1. I was... And it's not saying, like, obviously I was excited to play it. I'm sorry. I changed my mind. Nothing beats those two seasons, in my opinion. Those are the two greatest seasons in Fortnite history. Both of them are in SS tier. Now, Fortnite, Chapter 5, Season 1, Underground. I don't get the hype. I didn't. Like, it was cool to enter a new map, and the storyline was okay, but I didn't like the gunplay, the attachments. Grand Glacier and Rebel's Roost were, like, literally the only things that I enjoyed throughout that season. Other than that, I had to rely on the people that I was playing with in order to have fun. I didn't care for the grappling hook. I didn't care for the attachments. I didn't care for a lot that this season brought. This is my least favorite season in Fortnite history. Chapter 5, Season 1, Underground. Even the train was a disappointment. This is going at the bottom of C tier, okay? Now, speaking of seasons that are fantastic, we have Mega. Mega, okay. Chapter 4, Season 2. The theme was great. The map changes were great. The storyline blew. But the thing was, this, in my opinion, is the greatest seasonal gameplay in Fortnite history. From the weapons that felt good, the augments could have used some work, but you had that period in Mega where you were playing with the Spider-Man web shooters, you were playing with the Force Mythics, which were unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I forgot to talk about Chapter 5, Season 1, by the way, the Heisted event. That's something to consider, okay? I forgot to mention that. You had the Star Wars update, the Spider-Man update, and the Attack on Titan update all at the same time. That led for some of the most fun, chaotic, insane gameplay that you have ever seen in Fortnite. That, and you had an insanely good regular loot pool, even vehicles. And you want to talk about the POIs, Mega City was great. The graphics were great. No matter where you went, it was awesome. Everything about the map was great. Everything that was new was great. The skins were okay in my opinion. It was a decently strong battle pass, but man, this is peak Fortnite gameplay in my opinion. The core loot pool was great. Everything they added was great. The updates were great. Chapter 4 Season 2 Mega is going into the S tier along with Chapter 4 Season 1. You know what I almost want to do? Man? SSS tier, SSS. But I'm not going to do that because these two stand on their own. And man, this is clear to me. I loved it. And I almost enjoyed Chapter 4 Season 1 more than it. But the gameplay flow was just perfect. Chapter 1 Season 5. Another great season by Epic Games, man. This was where I really, really got hooked on Fortnite permanently. You had the fantastic map changes. We finally had a desert. We had vehicles added. Guys, you have no idea how much time, not only in Playground that I spent, okay? Playground just finally fighting each other, and I think that's something important to note. I know other seasons had Playground, but this is where we were building our parkour tracks. This is where we were building our race tracks. I'm sure you guys did the same thing with your friends too. I loved playing Playground. I loved the core gameplay. The turrets were hilarious. We had the heavy sniper. We had golf carts. And guys, Lazy Links was brought into the game. We sat down, we used the toy, and we played golf on Fortnite. To the point where sometimes people would come in and they would join you and play golf, and sometimes people would just come in and kill you. But that's the beauty of Fortnite, man. I had so much fun in this season. Chapter 1 Season 5. This was better than Chapter 4 Season 1. Chapter 1 Season 4 and Chapter 1 Season 3. A lot of people got upset about the P90. I don't care about the spray meta. I had a lot of fun with all the new stuff that Epic Games brought into the season. Plus we had Kevin the Cube. Kevin the Cube spawning on the island, rolling around. What's this giant cube weird thing that's going around here? By the way, we didn't have leaks back then, so we didn't know what this giant cube was. Playing around with it, messing around with it, dying to the cube. It was such a weird thing to see. And that only scratches the surface of what Chapter 1 Season 5 brought to us. I think that Chapter 1 Season 5 is better than all of these seasons, and it is going into the S tier. I'm putting Chapter 1 Season 5. I am putting it. I'm definitely putting it ahead of Chapter 2 Season 3. The question is, do I like it? No. That's a good spot for it. We have another S tier season. So now, Fortnite Chapter 2 Remix. I didn't like the theme. I didn't like that it was all hyped up that we were going back to Chapter 2. And I didn't like that Ice Spice took over one of my favorite POIs of all time. I can deal with it because it was nice to go back to the map. The car glitch carried the season. I'll tell you that. The car glitch carried that season, but it was only for the first week or so. The problem with this season were the bots. That was the giant issue, okay? I struggled to find a lot of players that I really, really had fun with, okay? Because they were all bots. It really, really hurt my gameplay experience for that reason. If it wasn't for that, I can enjoy myself just as much as I did in, let's say, Chapter 2 Season 1. I don't know about Chapter 2 Season 2 because it just had so much more. But Fortnite Remix, unfortunately, as much as I loved visiting the map, as much it was as a nostalgic trip back in time, and I didn't like that the bosses became your friends. I wanted to kill TNTina, man. I don't know. It did not hit the same. It didn't hit the same for me. This is going to go into the top of C tier, in my opinion. It hurts to say. Fortnite Chapter 5 Season 3 Wrecked. Now, here's the problem, okay? I dogged on Chapter 4 Season 5 Season 1, even though it brought new modes to the game. Ultimately, it wasn't enough. Was it enough to really take over Myths Immortals? I'm making a little bit of a change. I don't know. Because I played Lego and I had fun with Lego and I had fun with Fortnite Festival, but I also did the same thing in Myths Immortals, so scratch that. We're keeping it, okay? Wrecked brought Fortnite Reload. Fortnite Reload is, up until this point, throughout the entirety of Chapter 5, I primarily played Reload. Not only that, I adored it at the beginning. With all of the cars, the craziness, the overpowered items, everybody running each other over. It was chaotic. It was nuts. It was something that I really, really missed from Fortnite. Still suffered from the bullet drop issue. If they kept the cars as they were at the very beginning and maybe nerfed them just a little bit, I'd feel a lot differently about this season. But the Magneto update didn't do enough for me. The Pirates of the Caribbean update didn't do enough for me. Fortnite Wrecked still did not hit the same for me as all of these Fortnite seasons, but it did bring Fortnite Reload. Fortnite Reload was an absolute blast, and it was a huge, huge, fresh change of pace than I was used to throughout the seasons. For that reason, it's barely a C tier, man. I'm going to throw Fortnite Wrecked into the bottom of B tier for that reason, okay? Fortnite Wilds, Chapter 4, Season 3. I like this season. I'm not a Wilds hater. I thought Loot Pool's great. Optimus Prime's weapon was great. I liked the jungle biome, by the way. I enjoyed the fact that there were all these tall trees, the mud, the temples, all these hiding spots. You had to be so careful when you were traversing the jungle. I loved it. It brought the mammoth pistol, one of my favorite weapons, and probably the same to you guys, some of all of our favorite weapons in Fortnite history. I love the explosive repeater rifle. The storyline was interesting, but I thought the gameplay for it flowed very nicely, and I enjoyed myself throughout it. In saying that, though, Wilds did not stack up to a lot of the seasons that I've been talking about right here, so Wilds is going to actually go into the B tier. Where am I going to put Wilds? Am I going to put it ahead of Last Resort? That's a toughie. That's a real big toughie. I think they're pretty close in my opinion. Yeah, I'm going to put it behind Last Resort because Last Resort still had the jungle biome. It still had the fun with it, and the loot pool was slightly better. Okay, Fortnite Absolute Doom. Major disappointment. Major disappointment. I enjoyed the live event, and that was the highlight of the season for me. The Marvel Mythics weren't that fun. In comparison to what they could have been. The bullet drop was still there. I struggled to enjoy the gunplay. The Iron Man Mythics weren't overpowered. We didn't get Marvel Knockout. This season was a massive missed potential, just like Myths and Mortals. I didn't really enjoy myself this season. Fortnite Chapter 5, Absolute Doom, is going to go into the C tier as well. I'm going to put it... Oh my god. Oh my god. I was sitting here thinking that Chapter 5 Season 1 was my least favorite season of all time. But at least we had some good vibes when that first came about. We had some new things to explore. Guys, I'm going to put Absolute Doom at the bottom. I think that was my least favorite season in Fortnite history. I think it was. Must be. Right? And I'm going to get this out of the way right now. Chapters 1, Season 1, and Season 2, I was not present for. I did not play. So those are going in NA. Now, Chapter 1, Season 7. I was an OG lover of this season, okay? Everybody likes to pretend like they loved it back in the day. I loved how overpowered the planes were. I loved the Christmas event. And I will say, Chapter 2, Season 1 did the Christmas event better, but this was a very close second. It brought the Christmas vibes. I played so much with my friends back in the day, just drinking some hot chocolate, drinking some coffee. There was snowing outside. They did a fantastic job bringing the winter vibes to this. My brother, my friend, and I were flying planes through people's builds. The Infinity Blade was great. You had the introduction of Siphon, the introduction of Arena, and I stayed up until 2 a.m. playing with my friend who doesn't play Fortnite anymore, playing competitive, having fun with it, and it was before everybody was good, so we could actually participate competitively here and there. The loot pool was great. The skins were great. The vibe was great. You had a nice live event. I unfortunately missed that live event, but still, you covered also on Christmas. They covered the entire map in snow. Have they ever done that again? No, they did it in chapter 2019. Did it again. 2019 did it better, but this was close to peak Fortnite, man. Fortnite's had a lot of really great seasons, guys, and this was absolutely one of them. Chapter 1, Season 7 brought all the vibes, the fun gameplay, the OP items. Fish stick it brought too. There was a lot that Chapter 1, Season 7 brought that I really loved. I'm going to put this season into the S tier absolutely. Where though? Where am I going to put that? It gets so tough with all of these seasons, man. I had fun with all of them in S tier. Did I enjoy it more than Chapter 1, Season 5? Oh, man. Polar Peak also, another thing. Polar Peak, you had the great map changes. You had the Devourer too. There was so much to look forward to. Polar Peak's one of the greatest POIs in Fortnite history. Creative was, oh, this introduced creative. All of the parkour maps that we did, all of the fun things that we built in creative. No, this was better than Chapter 1, Season 5, okay? I found where I'm going to place it right ahead of Chapter 1, Season 5. Chapter 1, Season 7 is an S-tier season. Speaking of S-tier seasons, we have Chapter 1, Season 8. Another absolute banger. From the theme, the pirate theme, you had an amazing, amazing live event, by the way. One that didn't end. We had the storyline with the government that we called the government back in the day. We had the storyline with the vault. We had the first community event with, I don't even know what to call them, like the little pillars. The community got together. It was so much fun. The vaulting event, the volcano event. You had sunny steps. You had the entire jungle biome that was great. You competitive was in a really, really fun state. I remember playing with one of my best friends. All the time we were playing arena, just hiding in ballers the whole time. I know the ballers were overpowered, but the ballers were so much fun. With the end games that everybody was in a baller, it was hilarious. I loved the new biomes. The loot pool was great. The pirate cans were an excellent addition. Lazy Lagoon, while it did take over, unfortunately, Lazy Links, it was still a very welcome change. And something that I forgot to mention, by the way, with Chapter 1, Season 7, we got the block. The block also stands very, very strong. But man, Chapter 1, Season 8, you had the flint knock. You had amazing, like, whether it's the storyline, the gameplay, the map. Chapter 1, Season 8 was also a fantastic season to play Fortnite. I'm going to throw this one, okay. While this was Fortnite, one of Fortnite's greatest seasons, okay, I don't think that I enjoyed it as much as Chapter 1, Season 7 or Chapter 1, Season 5. This is where it gets a little bit tough because this is also an S-tier season. Am I going to put it... Did I enjoy it more than Chapter 3, Season 3? Did I enjoy it more than Fortnite Cubed? Did I enjoy it more than Nexus War? This is where it gets really, really tough. Because again, guys, the S tier, again, they're all peak Fortnite. It's just comparing them all together, right? I'm going to put Chapter 1, Season 8 right behind Fortnite Cubed. That's where I'm going to put Chapter 1, Season 8. Fantastic, fantastic season. Let's continue on to Chapter 1, Season 6. In my opinion, one of the weaker sides of Chapter 1, although I did love the Halloween event. I loved the Halloween event. The map changed a little bit lackluster. They did Four Nightmares great. The zombies around the map were phenomenal. Something Chapter 1, Season 7 did also just as good in my opinion, which I forgot about. The winter event was so good. It was so good. I loved the zombie feel about it, but the problem was, once we were out of the zombie feel, the Loot Lake Floating Island wasn't enough of a gimmick for me to really go like, hey, this was a fantastic season. But the game was still really fun. I really enjoyed myself. This was Chapter 1, Season 5, and especially Season 6 was the game where it was a season where everybody was talking about the game dying. But I was still enjoying myself. I enjoyed all the new things that came about it, but it does not stack up, unfortunately, to everything else that we've been talking about. I'm going to put Fortnite Chapter 1, Season 6 right behind Fortnite Wilds. I think that's a good spot for it. And finally, we have Chapter 1, Season 9. This is a issue of I played this season at the wrong time in my Fortnite career because this is when everybody was so good at the game. I wasn't caught up with everybody back in the day, and that's my own problem because structurally, if you want to rank, and I'm going to get into a lot of tier list content, like ranking these seasons structurally, like what objectively is the best for the player base. Season 9 would be up there in the S tier. But for my personal enjoyment level, Season 9, you had the slipstreams everywhere. I wasn't good enough to the point where if I even got over one singular fight, I was getting third party. Without question, you were getting third party because you had everybody flying in the slipstreams. Now, I would think that's a blast because I am a capable Fortnite player, but back then, I wasn't. So if I barely got by fights at the skin of my teeth, and another team would just come in and clean you up. I have never struggled in Fortnite to get a win so much than I did in Chapter 1, Season 9. And it's not about not winning. It's not. It's just, I couldn't get going in a game because I couldn't compete. And this is when the World Cup was in. Everybody was trying to play as hard as they possibly could. The FNCS event was great. The fort bites were great. Singularity was great. The map changes are great. It's a shame that I played this season in the wrong time in my Fortnite career because structurally, again, it was great. Loved the map changes. The battle pass was great. The fort bites were phenomenal. The live event really, really stood out for me. And Pressure Plant was one of my favorite POIs of all time. The issue is I spent the majority of my time in this season dying, and that's my fault. But for that reason, I didn't enjoy this season as much as I wish that I had. Chapter 1, Season 9 is going to go into the B tier. I'm going to put it, I enjoyed it more than Chapter 1, Season 6, I think. The question is, Wilds and Last Resort. Did I enjoy it more than them? I'm going to put it in between Wilds and Last Resort. That's where Chapter 1, Season 9 is going to go. And guys, that is the official tier list. I have been waiting so long to make this video. We finally reached 5 chapters of Fortnite, and here are my official rankings for every single season in Fortnite. Number 1 and 2, sharing number 1 spot, man. Fortnite Invasion, Fortnite Season X, followed by Fortnite Chapter 1, or Chapter 3 Season 1, Chapter 4 Season 2, Chapter 4 Season 1, Chapter 2 Season 2, Chapter 1 Season 7, Chapter 5, or Chapter 1 Season 5, excuse me, Chapter 2 Season 3, Chapter 2 Season 8, Chapter 1 Season 8, Chapter 2 Season 4, A tier, and you get the point. It's kind of weird how that graph ended up looking, though. Kind of weird, eh? I am ready for everybody in this planet to disagree with me. I'm ready, because I don't think Invasion's too unpopular of an opinion. I don't think Chapter 3 Season 1's too popular of an opinion, but I can see people like going crazy, like, wow, you put Cubed that high, you put these seasons above Chapter 2 Season 2, you put Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 1 in the A tier. I don't think that Fortnite's ever had a bad season, guys. That's why, even in the C tier, I'm not going to say it's bad because I enjoyed myself throughout it. It's just when I'm comparing all of these seasons together, Fortnite is the best game in the world, and I've enjoyed myself playing it so far, and Chapter 6 has been phenomenal so far. We will revisit this video in 5 chapters from now, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'd love for you to comment down below. Let me know what you think about everything. And if you want to continue watching some tier list content, I will have 2 videos for you to check out right here. You can check out either one of those videos. I would love to have you guys over there. Thank you for watching, everybody. Take care.